next day they encounter a vicious storm, and Arlo, we find out, has some major PTSD regarding lightning. Sorry, did I say PTSD? I meant fear. Just generic, no-name fear. And Arlo, you're supposed to be getting through your fear, remember? Which means, young man, you'll have to be punished.
I've lost the river!
What baffles me about this bit is that they actually go out of their way to show us that lightning is linked to traumatic memories of his father's death. They didn't even need to do that. They could have just said, yep, Arlo's still scared of lightning, ho-hum. But no, you told us, you showed us that this is in fact PTSD. But you're still treating it like it's a generic character flaw. Once you've linked something to a trauma, you can't hold the character responsible for it anymore. You can't punish them through it.
Where's the river?
Where is it? I don't know. Where is it? In the sky? No, Pixar's done such a good job getting me lost. There's no way I could ever find my way. Then Arlo meets a stranger, helping those who've been trapped by the storm, and gets a chance to feel helpful. Aw, look how proud of himself he is.
It's a critter.
A freed critter, thanks to you.
Something bad's gonna happen. Something really bad. Something like... Oh my god! Oh, stop it! Jesus! I didn't even have tea. Always have tea. This is why. Always have tea. Well, I hope you're happy with yourself, Good Dinosaur. Yes, you really played us like fools. What's the point of this? I mean, was this pointless before it happened, or only pointless, desperate, and disturbed after it happened?
I've seen the eye of the storm, and I forgot what fear is!
Well, that sounded like a point, so just desperate and disturbed then. Got it.
I'm not afraid of anything!
What does this have to do with Arlo? There are so many more interesting modes of fearlessness, like naivete, ignorance, bravado, apathy, idiocy, being an infallible godchild, or, you know, every decision Dory's ever made.
I said we would get you home. You have a critter of your own.
Or this was all about keeping Spot relevant.
Oh, I smell it.
I'm sorry, was that supposed to be a conflict between Arlo getting home and protecting Spot? Great conflict. What will Arlo choose?
Get him!
No, at this point, Spot is nothing but a plot device used to manipulate Arlo. Not to bring him to a crux between two things he wants, no. Just whatever moves the story the cheapest. Like when they run into 3 T-Rexes who've lost their herd of longhorns. Don't ask.
Spot can sniff out anything. He can find your longhorns. Sniff it out, boy.
Guys, he's not actually a dog. It's tough, I know. You've ruined every chance you had to make him relevant. But this is just stupid. Your audience is basically this guy right now.
Oh, dang.
If you pull my leg...
If this character is actually useless, I swear I will kill you.
He found the herd.
Oh, great. And now that Spot's relevance to the plot is purely objective, I'm sure we can look forward to him being kidnapped at some point. You know, like a princess.
Rustlers, I got a job for you.
Oh, yay! The low, grumbly substitute father figure is here, complete with country voice.
I got a job for you.
He gives Arlo the task of standing in the middle of the longhorns and screaming in order to attract the hyenas rustlers. But then Arlo's having trouble making himself scream as he was instructed, and he starts to worry that he's gonna let his new father figure down just like he let his own father down. I'm kidding. Spot bites him on the knee.
Howdy.
What's your name?
What's he look like he's doing to you, Lurleen?
Oh, come on, Bubba. Ask me.
Wow.
Bonsai, what have we got here?
I don't know, Shenzi. What do you think, Ed?
It's Shenzi, Bonsai, and Ed. They're actually here.
Looks like he's trespassing.
A trio of trespassers.
What do we do with trespassers?
Do you know what we do to kings who step out of their kingdom?
Kill them!
Oh no! There's technically 4 of them! What was I thinking? And then the wildebeest start to stampede. I'm sorry, none of this is the point. It's just really distracting. The point is, Arlo actually does get to help out by pulling two of the rustlers off of Butch the T-Rex and help scare them away from the herd. He finally gets a taste of feeling what it's like to contribute and be a part of a family. I think. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yay, Arlo! You're not gonna punish him, right?
You and that critter showed real grit today.
Okay, good.
We could use that critter. How about we trade?
Okay, we get it. Everyone wants Spot. That's the only way you can actually convince us that he's worth anything.
We want him.
Friend, you have a critter of your own.
Where is it?
Look, all the other dinosaurs want him. He's such a commodity. Therefore, we have to appreciate him, I guess.
Thanks, but Spot ain't for trading. Come here, Spot.
So he really is just some pet or some sort of farm dog or something. Like, Toothless not only had a personality, they made a point of showing that Hiccup was not actually training him to follow commands, like some sort of beast of burden. Toothless was still capable of making decisions, and he had his own opinions. They made a point of making sure we knew that, because they understood anything else would seriously undermine the central relationship of their film. I don't even know if you want to call this a relationship. At best, it's a companionship. I mean, yeah, it's a dinosaur with a pet boy, but you guys seem to be leaning purely on the novelty of that concept. Not that Pixar would ever do that.
That's a good one. Gonna scar up real good.
What? When did that happen? So you're telling me that Arlo finally gets hurt from a meaningful decision he's made, and you just skipped it? How did you spend 2 minutes on this, which was an accident, and completely gloss over an injury actually caused by him doing something brave? Anyways, the three T-Rexes all exchange anecdotes over their past experiences of being afraid and bragging about their scars.
Who's got a scar?
Sorry, force of habit. Arlo, you were saying something definitely not from Lion King.
You guys would have liked my papa. He wasn't scared of anything.
Luckily, I've got clips handy.
But you're not scared of anything.
Who said I'm not scared?
I was today.
But you took on a croc.
And I was scared doing it.
Guess even kings get scared, huh?
Okay, you guys are asking Arlo to be inspired by the fact that a T-Rex might have something it's afraid of?
You can't get rid of fear. It's like Mother Nature.
Yeah, you know what else is a part of nature? The food chain!
You can get through it.
You're a T-Rex! You've got teeth and claws to get yourself through your fear. You're a 10-ton apex predator!
Bit one croc in half, tail whip the other.
So I chew the dang thing off!
I run into 15 outlaw stegos.
Outlaw stegos? What do? Steal your low-lying shrubs?
They're all bigger than me and meaner than me.
Well, they'd have to be, wouldn't they?
What happened?
Fought 'em off, of course.
What do I look like, a small defenseless leaf eater? Okay, guys, your rhetoric might be bullshit if you're trying to convince us that a Stegosaurus is bigger and meaner than a T-Rex. Think about what you're saying. And the next time Arlo finds himself being attacked by something, he might think, oh, T-Rexes don't have this problem. I may have to find another mode of inspiration on this. Yeah, you know what? If fear is so natural and nothing to be ashamed of, let's see it. Come on, you and you.
Run, Arlo!
No, not being afraid for someone else, that doesn't count. That's what I thought.
Who said I'm not scared?
Why did you think we would believe that? Why should we believe that? You had plenty of opportunity to show us these strong stoic type characters experiencing fear. But you don't! Henry dies like freaking Jesus, and Butch frankly looks way too cool in his final moments of vulnerability pending a humiliating death. You guys have painted fear as something that is a crippling character flaw. Something that needs to be punished, something to look down on, that we think less of. And you can't have it both ways. You can't just march in and say, oh, fear's a part of life, nothing to be ashamed of, when A, you can't bring yourself to actually show us these characters fearing for their lives, and B, you depict Arlo's fear like this. Can't get rid of fear. It's hilarious. A rugged cowboy type admitting that he's afraid sometimes, that just gives him a nice humanizing moment. Fear for Arlo, if anything, is dehumanizing.
It's like Mother Nature.
Because yes, this probably is what fear in Mother Nature looks like. I don't know what the hell this is. Nothing about Arlo's fear is meant to look at all natural or evoke empathy or understanding on the part of the audience. This is something else. This is a childhood trauma of some kind that you guys just forgot to come up with. That's the kind of information we need, not just disingenuous dad advice from...
You and that critter showed real grit today.
That's the Ram truck commercial guy, isn't it?
One winner, no argument.
That is too perfect. The voice of rugged manliness as a pandering corporate sales tactic.
Guts, glory, Ram.
You guys realize a ram is a sheep, right?
Let's go! Yeah!
So, the next day, Arlo is helping the T-Rexes drive the herd when Butch gives him another job.
Head him off before those longhorns split.
And it's not so much about overcoming a specific fear as it seems to be just an affirmation of the confidence he's regained. He finally seems to be able to put all of his failed jobs behind him and succeed at something. Oh, proxy father figure acceptance! The narrative elixir of life! You know what? Maybe he succeeded at this job because it needed to be done and he understood why it needed to be done. That was enough to get him through it. Instead of all the manipulative reward systems and the condescending distractions and the bullshit "you'll do this for me if you love me" crap. I still blame you! Sorry. And speaking of manipulative reward systems...
Clawtooth Mountain! There's home!
You overcome fear and finish job to appease father figure. The plot approves. Let's see what's behind mountain number 1. So he breaks off from those guys suddenly, just kind of feels a bit like a rewrite. There's no saving it now, just go wherever. And then we get to experience the glory of getting to run through a flock of birds with a plot device on your face. Seriously. Getting to be a bit much. And you know what? I want to get caught up in these high moments. I really do. But it's clearly not sincere. They wouldn't have to try this hard if any of this was earned. Oh, the birds and the sun and the water. It's like a symphony of bullshit. Okay. It's starting to get really sarcastic. Whoever suggested this idea, guys, they were kidding. Oh god, Arlo can't even. Spot, you left Gailey for a while, I need a break. Aw, Spot gets a father figure too! Everyone will be complete. Oh, interesting. I understand he's not ready to give up his emotional support, but that was weird. So that's what all this was. I thought it was stalling, but it was actually to try and convince us that these two have a bond we're supposed to care about. I don't think it worked. I wonder if it's not weird because he just picks him up and walks away. I mean, this is definitely the action of an owner and his pet. Or more like the owner of a stolen pet when the pet sees his actual owner. Or worse, the actions of someone keeping that pet from becoming a son and a part of a family. Like, Arlo does not think of them as equals. But, I mean, maybe that's what we're building up to, and Arlo needs to learn that about himself, so... continue. Next, we're reminded again that Arlo still has some major issues regarding lightning. Oh no, I sure hope Arlo doesn't fall. We know he's going to fall! Now let's see what gravity thinks of your fear. Spot! See, Arlo, you should have let Spot go. And you didn't, so now the plot makes you let him go. And drops a rock on your head for good measure. What, no, this won't be tired and repetitive? Why did you think this would be a special cliff? Well, Arlo hasn't fallen on his face from a great height for like an hour. If anything, he's overdue. And why do they want Spot? They're just mad. Arlo is clearly going to be more filling. Kill and eat him. Do all of us a favor. No, we want the smaller thing that's only like maybe one meal. We don't know why. But see, pterodactyls are partial to the soft, tender flesh of the plot device.
Papa?
I knew you couldn't be dead!
My friend! Papa, stop!
Never mind. He is dead. Wait! You better not be a ghost! I swear to God if you're a ghost!
You're not here.
Arlo.
You have forgotten me.
But Spot needs me. I blamed him for what happened to you, but it wasn't his fault.
Oh, is that what you think? It's good, thank you for telling us. That was overdue about an hour ago, but thank you.
So I gotta go help him because I love him.
Okay, that's a bit of a jump. Love? That's the word you want to go with? You want to go with love? Really? I have to throw around big loaded words, Papa, to compensate for the lack of the story. You understand?
I knew you had it in you.
Huh?
You're me and more.
Just recycle it. I don't care if it makes sense. Recycle it. It'll sound like we mean something. Oh, I understood my son's potential the whole time. Shut up. No, you didn't. Arlo blindly worshipping his father's every word is what got him into this mess in the first place. And maintaining that Henry actually was right all along and he actually was the saintly god dad he thought of himself as is not only unoriginal and not particularly inspired, but it does nothing for Arlo.
I knew you had it in you.
You see, Arlo, the only thing that overcomes fear is love. Right. That's what you were trying to teach him. Sure it was. Yeah, fine. What? Good Dinosaur? Maybe Henry just wasn't a good teacher. And maybe that's okay. Maybe it means more for Arlo to realize that and to take me and more into his own hands and be more than his father by acknowledging his father's flaws and shortcomings. And you set this up to be so vague.
I'm gonna make my mark.
By doing something bigger than yourself to see the beauty on the other side. I knew you had it in you.
Henry can basically just take credit for any of Arlo's growth. He could say "Walla between the schniggabit, Arlo," and Arlo would find a way to be inspired by that. Ugh, your stupid face and your stupid grin. I'm so wise it hurts. You're a dick.
Now go take care of that critter.
See? Saving the critter's life was what I wanted you to do all along. How were you still a manipulative dickwad even in the afterlife? Oh, because that's how Arlo remembers you. Makes sense. So he doesn't get to find his own sense of purpose and become his own man. No, he's still defining himself and his purpose based on his father's expectations, whether imaginary or not. How is that better? Anyway, so Simba has a dramatic running sequence through a storm to go off and find Scar at Pride Rock. Arlo eventually finds the pterodactyls, trying to pull Spot out of a tree. You guys are the shittiest predators ever. Boss, I can't seem to pull him out. My beak is too perfectly suited. Alright, Arlo, show them the power of love! What are you doing? I didn't know. Prepare yourselves for the headbutt of love! How did you just praise Arlo's compassion right before you turn him into a raging berserker? For crap's sake. They couldn't lift him off the ground! What is going on? Yes, in mid-air, using imaginary physics, Arlo ninja tail whips a tree in two, like it's a stack of wafers, after which the pterodactyls remember they have imaginary brains and can't fly out of the way of a falling tree. Did you seriously just roar? Have you been roaring? Guys, he's not a lion! He's a peaceful herbivore. I mean, do you notice how much bullshit they have to pump into this scene? Did it ever occur to you guys that Arlo wouldn't actually be able to solve any problems with aggression? Yeah, I'm gonna assume that did occur to you. We here at Pixar realize that herbivores suck. Therefore, we've taken the liberty of upgrading Arlo with some anti-lameness features, such as a supersonic yell, so his enemies will know when he's being totally serious, a razor tail that cuts through trees, and a high-accuracy long-distance super stick fling for picking off cowards who try to run away. He will also be able to channel, at will, angsty cowboys, mountain sheep, and truck commercials. He is also immortal. Thank you! Oh yeah, here we go again. Wait, what are we doing? You're not gonna kill him off. That immediately tells me you're about to undermine Henry's death again. Can you not? I mean, what could you possibly do? Throw a stick at it? Hit it with your tail? What? No, that's not gonna work! Fine! See? I'm making grr faces and I'm headbutting and tail whipping and roaring and I jumped in front of a deadly wave of water and debris. Oh my god, I just got stabbed! Have I made my mark yet? I don't know, Arlo. I wish I could help you. Why not go over a waterfall, just in case? Oh, look, we're supposed to care if he's alive or not. Yeah, no, sorry. Sympathy is for characters. Spot is not only a plot tool, he's objectified so badly in this film. He makes Disney princesses look like master character studies. Oh yay, Arlo got his accessory back. And if Spot is anything, he's the symbol of Henry's acceptance. Thanks to this scene.
I love him.
I knew you had it in you.
So don't tell me this is about Spot, or Arlo, or friendship, or love. This is all still, above all else, about Arlo making his father proud. Which just makes all the ridiculous antics and roaring and raw desperation of Arlo's efforts here just really depressing. How else can I almost die for you, Dad? Anyways, Arlo finally gets home, but we have to say goodbye to the plot device in a tear-jerking farewell scene, which is difficult to accomplish with plot devices, because by their nature, you don't give a shit. So you may feel the need to drag us through a 4-minute, slow and excruciatingly overwrought scene in which Arlo makes Spot stay with his family. Yes, makes him. I don't know why that was necessary to include. Spot's just like, oh, well, that was a nice visit. Off we go. You either want to stay or you don't. And I'm not saying this is easy for Arlo. It's gotta be tough, especially when you just risked your life to save this kid. It's like, oh yeah, where were you guys about 5 minutes ago when he was drowning? Oh, you didn't really want him then? What, you couldn't pick up a stick? I have to throw the stick? You guys could have thrown a stick. So it kind of looks like Spot doesn't really care either way. They really want this to be Arlo's decision, and normally I'm all for that. Yeah, character decision, it's awesome. But in order to make it Arlo's decision alone, they make it out like it never even occurred to Spot that this could be his new family. Which, based on the evidence, unless his parents were actually sticks. But it really just makes it feel like Arlo is doing this just so he can say he's done something big for something bigger than himself. You might as well just say, sorry, Spot, but this is much more in line with my blossoming manhood narrative, so shoo, go be with your own kind, I'm too old for little kids. And then Arlo draws a circle, and Spot oh my god, get on with it! Oh, they're leaving. Thank god, it's almost over. No, don't stop! Ah! Oh, and finally, as Arlo approaches his home, at long last, he is his father. That's actually what it's about. That is actually the purpose of this film. It's set out so that Arlo could be his dad. Don't we all feel better? Don't you dare say Henry.
Henry?
Ah! Yeah, well, fine. Go push your mark on the silo of manipulation and deceit. Yeah, I bet that feels good. And why Why even bother putting your precious hard-earned mark on it? You're just gonna have to knock it down to build one that actually works anyway. Never! This silo may be shit. It may be broken, it may fail at its only function. It may be incapable of performing the simple task of keeping vegetables away from toddlers. In fact, the flaws in its design may be a threat to our very survival, but it will live on! As a symbol of a dated, potentially harmful, and overly romanticized, and quite frankly bullshit notion that Daddy always knows best. Even when the thing he built to demonstrate that proves he doesn't. Okay, summing up, 3 main things just really irk me about this film. Fear, daddy issues, injuries. First, as a study of fear, it's just incredibly half-assed. Not even, it's like a quarter-assed, like a fraction of an ass. It kind of takes a Goldilocks and the Three Bears approach to exploring fear. This guy's too afraid, and he's crazy.
It's terrifying out here.
This guy's not afraid of anything,
I've seen the eye of the storm.
and he's crazy, which I guess then leaves you as the just right bowl of fear porridge.
I drowned that croc in my own blood.
I mean, Goldilocks never even got a chance to stop and use these interactions to inform an opinion or decision about his own struggles with fear, and the one we're supposed to care about was just lecturing the character directly on the morals of the film.
You can't get rid of fear. It's like Mother Nature.
No! That's what storytelling is for! You've laid so much groundwork and never reap the benefits of anything. Exploring different causes of fear? No. Committing to the stakes and consequences of not getting back to help his family before the first snow? No. Original interpretation of the value of fatherly acceptance? No. Arlo grappling with befriending Spot given his role in his father's death? Didn't even touch it. But referenced it, pretending like you did. And never mind Spot's role, Arlo never came to terms with his own role in his father's death. He doesn't blame himself.
It's all your fault!
Neither does his family, not even his bully of an older brother Buck, for some reason. And honestly, recreating the giant wave from Henry's death scene, that is starting to feel less like something that actually happened, and more like something else from Arlo's subconscious dreamscape. More like a product of his guilt and denial rather than an actual step forward in his development. I mean, think about it. Only a powerless, naive child would think back to the event and convince himself that he could have stopped the wave by simply jumping in front of it. That is something from the mind of someone still in the early stages of grieving. Yeah, Arlo, you could have fought off the pterodactyls. You could have stood up to the same wave that killed your dad. You just had to try harder. I mean, after all, he said, "You're me and more." He clearly meant to say, "You're wave-proof and I'm not." I can't believe in 2015, we have a film still glorifying the pressure of sons and or kids in general to worship their fathers. I mean, How to Train Your Dragon offered a much more progressive and insightful and ultimately human take on father-son stories. Mainly because Stoic, as a father, was just a well-meaning guy who was a realistic product of his circumstances. He wasn't a villain, nor was he Jesus. He was just mortal, which is groundbreaking in terms of father figures, apparently. What? Father figures are not flawed, they're not mortal, they're like robots, practically. They're not people. Now, I have no idea if The Good Dinosaur actually references these films, even though it does. I have no idea. But that might explain how muddled its message is. Because if we look at Stoic, he apologizes, tells his kid he's proud, and then steps back and lets him do his own thing. Mufasa, on the other hand, is still backseat driving Simba's resolve to adopt his legacy. And it feels like this film thought it could find a way to use both these endings, which are total opposites.
You are my son.
Who defines his own destiny by following in my footsteps. You know what, son? I'm just gonna say, whatever you learn, I knew you had it in you. Can't lose. And then this, which rips off both of these films, not even very well, adds nothing to improve upon the common themes involved and just comes out the other end an incoherent mess. And I wonder if that's why they decided Arlo needed to bash his head on something every 4 seconds. They were desperate to garner sympathy for this character, and making him suffer by inflicting cheap injuries that all appear to heal before the start of the next scene was the best way to do that. Like, guys, if you have to beat your character up in order for us to care, If our attachment to him hinges on the absolute minimal requirements of human compassion, that of not wanting anyone to be hurt, your story's in trouble. Like, the first thing I thought when Arlo got home was, well, I know you fell off 40 cliffs, but you look fine. No one's gonna believe you. You prattle on about how scars are representations of people overcoming their fear, and that's what he gets? That's a scuff. Compared to everything, and you're ripping off a film where the kid lost his leg. That's what he has to show for it. This film wants Arlo's falls and stumbles to stand as superficial badges of life experience and character building without acknowledging any of the icky side effects like wounds or broken bones that could have seriously jeopardized his survival. I mean, maybe it is all his imagination. Maybe none of this is real. Maybe he died here. Or here. Maybe he actually fell off that cliff, got hit in the head, and died. So, if Arlo almost died 8 times and theoretically died at least once, who wins the peril pool? No one. Arlo's peril pool was simply a rhetorical device. It was purely symbolic, had absolutely zero real-world consequences or extenuating ramifications of any kind. So no one gets a problem. You fascist.
But how that certain place was hurting, Mother put me straight to bed. Great big bump on my head.
Then you fell right out of bed.
Yeah, I fought down your boot.
Oh.